won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders.
What up, what up, what up, and welcome back into Pregaming here on Sports Money Network. It's 6 p.m. here on Wednesday, November the 5th, and we are underway with the month of November already. College football, college basketball, NHL, NBA, all on deck for us tonight as we get ready to move into weekend mode. Thursday's connected to Friday, and then we are rolling. So we've got Hump Day here. Hump Day means that we get the time to spend on First Strike. MMA Jeff and I will be recording First Strike tonight. We will get those plays out to you guys. We've got two sides and a parlay for you guys for the action come Saturday for the 4 p.m. UFC Vegas 111 fight card. You don't want to miss out on the live shows because you know the deal. We cover the entire gauntlet of sports action. Not just the UFC, albeit that's the fun spot. That's the thing that we're watching two eyeballs on the entire time. But of course, we'll be flipping between the NHL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and we'll be talking the NFL, the fun segment of the NFL parlay, the NFL touchdown parlay. So a little bit of work to get live here now. We're getting live on a bunch of different spots. Getting it out there to Winnable, got it on YouTube, got it on Twitter, got it over on Instagram as well. So appreciate everybody checking in with what we're doing here at Sports Money. Lots of fun tonight, 7 p.m. We should have Sean Fox popping off, talking about his action for the evening. He'll go live for you guys with NBA, college basketball. He'll have NHL. I'm sure he'll have college football. He'll have player props. He'll have sides. He'll have totals for an evening to help you guys get ready to shift from hump day to weekend mode as we do what we do here at Sports Money. What else is going on here at Sports Money? Well, of course, you know, the Sunday show has been popping, getting a lot of good feedback about that. So keep it coming. Make sure you guys take the time to tag the video in there. Put a comment. Say thanks. Like it. Enjoy it. Put us your side. Put us your total. 2 shows deep, but a lot of positive content from you guys. So I appreciate some of you guys have taken the time to hit me up on DM. Appreciate that. You know, we come in here, we take the time out of our personal lives to give more action, more breakdowns, more analysis, and of course, qualitative analysis. Nobody wants to deal with losers. We try not to. We try to minimize the losers on screen. Certainly try not to be losers on screen. That being said, though, we've got ourselves some action tonight. It's a smaller NHL card, so I've got 3 plays. I only have St. Louis and Washington, Columbus and Calgary listed. I added a spot in the Utah-Toronto game that, after further review, makes an absolute ton of sense. Then we're going to get into, again, 2 games in college football. Spot on with both of them yesterday. You can't lay the point. Well, you can't get the point. UMass sucks. But I got 2. I'll talk about both of them again, but I think NIU Toledo gives us the best opportunity to cash tonight. I've got 2 college basketball games. Again, short slate for college hoops. So I just wanted to kind of narrow down to a couple of spots that just were some of my first cuts for the premium action. Tarleton and LSU, East Texas A&M versus New Mexico. And then we'll talk about 2 NBA games as well. Now, it's a lengthy NBA card. Did I get one more? Let me look. I'm looking at the card thinking, did I leave something off the pile? I did. I've got one more to add to the pile. And actually, I've got a player prop and a side for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knickerbockers. So that's going to be the way that we go to the window tonight, you guys. We've already had a day started off here. Fired off 2 soccer plays for the UCL, the Champions League. Nothing crazy. We went 1-1 yesterday. We ended up a little bit of plus money. Today we go 2-0. We cashed the Man City on both teams to score yes at plus 140. We cashed the Barcelona game over 2.5. I think it ended with 6. And then the Newcastle team total over 1.5 for an even money play out there. So we made almost 2.5 units in Champions League action this afternoon also shared over on the Silver and Gold Club. So over on the post tab, make sure you guys do have your notifications turned on for the post tabs and the feedback that gets dropped over there. I see like 4 thumbs up. It's like, maybe you guys don't want it. Maybe it's just, it's a lot of extra effort and process for me. So, get the likes beefed up there. We'll continue to give it out there, but Silver and Gold action did cash those 2 plays with us. Also dropped another play out there for this 6 p.m. game in college hoops, popping off right now. And no, it's not RIT Binghamton. It was in the Rutgers Rider game. So I think I gave out, it was minus 18.5 on the Rutgers side of things. 6 o'clock start. That's the purpose of supporting the squad, supporting me specifically. Action that starts before the show starts and or earlier action in the afternoon, late night action, live betting action, all of the action that gets shared out there comes by way of either the Winnable process or the Silver and Gold Club. Gave some live bets out last night in Winnable. Very efficient, very smooth way for me to go. I put out a light live play for the Nevada Wolfpack, minus 8.5. They easily cashed for us. I gave a live play on Texas Tech under 165.5. You remember in the show, I talked to you guys about the under trend, and I gave out a team total under. Well, Texas Tech decided to play some effery with their lineup, and it didn't quite go. Only missed the under on the team total by a basket, but we did get presented with an opportunity where the total was almost 20 points higher than the game kicked off. I think it was 18 points higher at halftime than the game tipped off at. And so that was an easy decision to go under 165.5. Added the Kings late night over on Winnable. We had talked about it here, but everything lined up. So it was just a good spot to hammer. As far as the action here on the show, got to be transparent. It's the only thing we got. The only thing we got every show. I like to tell you guys, hey, win or lose, what did we do? And, we dropped 2 units yesterday, which really stinks. It was the Kentucky game. Kentucky first half, Kentucky full game. Kentucky just didn't get done. They won by 26 points. 31.5 was the number. They won the first half by 13. 18.5 was the number. So we got fucked. It's a bad call on my part. I own it. Outside, that's sometimes the one plays the difference. And this is why we flat bet. You don't want to have your specialty sport be something that you just don't have enough units to fire on because you wasted a bunch of units on shit you're just not good at, right? Now, I've capped all the sports, and we'll get better as the season goes. As you've seen, we've turned the corner in the NFL, heating up in college football, and, of course, the NHL is getting back to where we are, and that is fire. So, going to tread lightly. That's why you see just a couple spots. The NBA right now is fucking anything goes. I don't even know what to make of it. But anyhow, we won the Ohio. I gave that one out official to you guys, minus 2.5. Look, at halftime, you could have got almost a touchdown on the Ohio side in your back pocket or a nice plus money spot. And literally, what did I say? It was going to be fought in the trenches. It was going to be a back and forth game. Final score was 24-20. Ohio comes out on top for the minus 2.5. And, Akron kicked the shit out of them boys, but I just thought there was too much uncertainty in that game. One of the things I did is I parlayed the minus 11 with the Ohio money line, just as a little fun play. But hey, Akron smacked them boys at UMass. Straight ass. NHL added the Montreal Canadiens. Them boys went down 3-0. It was panic mode. Took a little live piece on them at like plus 225. They go back to win the game or lead the game 4-3 in the third period. Fought hard, only to let Philly tie it up to go to overtime. And Zegras, Trevor Zegras, the guy that was part of the, not part of the Gauthier trade, but I think there was some derivative therein, is the number 1 guy in shootouts in the NHL right now. And he's a flyer. He gets the job done. Over 6 was a no sweat bet in the NHL. In the Boston and Islanders game, I told you I would lean Boston. And it cashed. Boston won. Dallas minus 125. Everybody was, Dallas is done. They're down 2-0. They won the game 4-3 in a shootout. And the Kings came home for us with gold. So the NHL is right back to where we left it last season. The NBA, can't say so much about the NBA. I mean, we won the Pelicans game. Another tremendous live betting opportunity. They're down 3 points with a minute 48 to go, I believe was the number that I jumped in. I got a plus 205 live on the Pelicans. I was like, fuck it. I'll put a half a unit on this thing. It's still going to equal a full unit. Worst I'm in is a unit and a half, but I have the opportunity to turn this thing into 3 units, just about 3, 2.5 units. And they go to overtime and they win the game 116-112. So that was a nice little winner for us. The Clippers were leading the whole first half. I flipped the game on as I was flipping back and forth between the Kings and the Clippers. It was late night there. That was Mikey Money under the covers. And I was flipping back and forth between the Kings and the Clippers. Clippers were looking good, so I flipped over to the Kings. Then the Kings looked pretty good. So I flipped back to the Clippers and I saw that they did not look so good. So OKC gets the job done, beats them up. Pretty much that's the way things devolved last night, and that's how you lose 2 units. So had some good live bets, had some good winnable bets. Not so good college basketball bets here, but we will get better. And we started off the day strong here as well. So just a grind. Everything's a grind. It's consistent. And for what it's worth, if you guys are looking for your way to get involved with Winnable, even if you're just going to go sign up for the free plays, the best part is the text alerts. So live, here's the deal. We've all seen the live shows, right? These live lines move like this. Boom. That was a good snap. That's how passionate I was about. Boom. I should have just stopped when I was ahead. So when I push them out there and you get a notification on your phone that says, click the Winnable link, something's going on. You don't miss the action when it gets popped out there. And that's the benefit of it. It's an efficient way for me to send the information out there. It's $1 a day to support some of these enhanced plays, these premium plays, these best bet selections, my favorite plays, even plays I drop out there before I share them here on the show, just because I want to capture the best line. Consider it. Support me. Appreciate everybody that does come in here on a regular basis, but check out Winnable. Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
All right, here's the new show plan so everybody's on the know. Pretty sharply dialed into 6:20 on the dot. I'm trying to move things forward 5, even 7 minutes. So I need everybody to get in here sooner. If you're watching this back on the replay going, what happened? We have so much that's popping off at 7 or 7:45 that I want to get the information out there just a little more expeditious so that, frankly, I have a few more minutes to do what I have to do before we run right back in. Because when I go show, even though there's 40 minutes in between the show and when we start a live stream, still really for me, it's like 30 because I got to get in there early backstage. I got to update a few things and it's just trying to move things up. So look at the timing. We're right at the mark. It's time to get your best bets in the chat. I told you it's my favorite part of the show. Still want to recognize the plays you guys are on because I passionately believe this is the sharpest damn chat in the business. Furthermore, trying to get the post out there for you guys, the polls, so that we can get more votes in on the community polls to kind of get a better data set. So I already took the liberty of posting the poll for tomorrow's NFL game. And I referenced that because I see Jover's in the house and he's going to give us some plays here tonight. He likes the Jackets and Flames game over 6 and the Blues and Capitals over 5.5 for Jover. What's up, Joe T? Blake M's here. He says, good evening, crew. Peter Grassi says, good evening, Mikey. And all let's fucking go money. There's Jerry Davis. AJ's checking in. What up, AJ? Peter Grassi says, I've been liking them on Winnable. Appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate that. Jerry Davis says, man, we're trying to heat up, trying to, change of process, just a little bit of process internally. I don't need to get into all of that, but listen, the absolute top of the crop you'll find over there. Jerry Davis says, some dogs. I like Southern Indiana, Eastern Washington, and North Dakota State. From Jerry Davis. Peter Grassi says, Ohio. What a finish. Thanks, Mikey. Yeah, it was a pretty good action game, wasn't it? It's pretty good. The other one was kind of boring, a little beat down, but good call on the Bruins and Capitals, says Peter Grassi. Appreciate that, man. Stop Geos, check it in. Bo Jackson says, let's go Raptors. That was an easy dub. Sabonis is ruled out. Rib contusion, says Stop Geo. The ribs are a long way from your heart, Sabonis. Bo, that's one of my favorite scenes, and I forgot what movie it was in. the replacements, I think. Bo Jackson's great call on the Stars, Kings, and Pelicans, pimp. I appreciate that, man. Peter Gracias, winnable was a great way to get the early line. Thanks. I try to get them out there. Some of these lines move so much by game time, it makes me, I can't get them out here. They just move so much that it's like you go the other way. We talked about that with the Lakers the other day. Brian Palmer says, what's going on, everyone? Let's get ready to cash them. Peter Gracias says, Celts should bounce back, smash, and Bo Jackson's liking the Mavs, the Lakers so far. We are ahead of the bucket right now, you guys. So let's get into some NHL. As always, we will continue to start out with the NHL. But I'm always interested if you guys like the sharp play report, if you want the sharp respected betting, because sometimes I'll tell you if I'm playing on it, but I won't tell you the rest of it. But I'm trying to evolve and adapt. I want to make this show better for everybody. I want to move it up so that everyone's done by, great time for me would be done by 6:45. Yeah, it shrinks the show down to 6:45. But if we can all get in here a little bit earlier, we don't need to sit around and wait for everybody to get in here, right? So that's the game plan going forward. Plus, if you like those sharp action bet reports, I'm happy to share those with you guys too. So, hey, put a note in the comments for me if that's something you guys want me to maybe evolve, and I'll give it to you by sport, because I get it by sport for the most part. And I mean, they don't force it. There's usually one or two games that kind of rise to the top. Sometimes they're a look ahead spot, but I just think it's all excellent information. St. Louis Blues and the Washington Capitals, we will get to in a moment. I added a play. I added a spot in the Maple Leafs Utah Mammoth game and the over 5.5. I didn't think I was going to like the Utah Mammoth name. It's kind of growing on me. I'm going to be honest. I kind of like everything about that team. I don't like that they're former Coyotes, but I like that they took the team out of the Coyotes. I like their color scheme. I guess I'm okay with their logo. I guess it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Buffalo Sabres, but and I like their new practice. I guess I'm coming around to the Utah Mammoth. Maybe I'm a little late to the party. Maybe they'll continue. Maybe they'll start shitting the bed. I don't know. But they got Vitek Vanacek in goal to start this thing off, and he's had a really great start to the season. He's got a 2.0 goals against average, a 91.3% save percentage. We know they went on like an 8-game rip, and he's 2-1. So you got to respect it. Got to respect the goalie. 9-4, 5-3 on the road. The Utah Mammoth come out to play. And the thing I've said even the other day, you got to respect the fact that all these guys know Toronto. They all know what it's all about. They want to go into Toronto and they want to kick ass and take names. They don't care if they're an expansion team in the Utah Mammoth. They've got Stolars going in the other side, 5-4-1. He's got just a 3.12 goals against average. So Toronto had to come from behind on the Penguins. That was the heartbreaker. Remember, they scored 4 goals in the third period. We had the Penguins. We had them at plus 156. Up until the last maybe minute and a half of the game, it looked like we were going to cash. And they did us dirty. Stolars has won 3 in a row. He's on the uptick after a tough start to the season. So I looked at this one. One motivation for me is the fact that they're going to Toronto. You know, we're going to see everyone brings their best. This is like, I don't know what the NFL equivalents would be. You guys know I'm stubborn. The NFL equivalent, I don't think Dallas is America's team, but I might just because I'm a Cowboys boy or a Eagles fan. So I don't know. Is the Toronto the equivalent of playing in Dallas? Does everybody bring their A game? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough for me. But I know when they expect goals and Toronto gets the benefit of a tired team, they put boot to ass. They are 93-32. They've won 8 of their last times they've been put in that scenario. And when you get a high total, the rested team versus the no rest team beats ass when it's a 6.5 or higher. 9-1 its last 10. 219-74 over a wider stretch of sample. That is just about 3-1. Very rarely do we see a 75% win percentage situation. And then the last piece to kind of put the bow on this one is Toronto beats the shit out of the West. When they get an unrested West, a West on no rest, Toronto finds a way to thump them. They're 23-3 in those spots. They've won 12 straight times. I think the Mammoth come out there and put up at least 2, but I think that we can see a 4 out of Toronto. The total 6.5, so I teased it down. Remember, I can't do these at DraftKings anymore. Maybe you guys are in the same boat. I used to be able to, but I can't alt-line the sides anymore because we beat them up all last season before. And so we're going to take a minus 150. I'm not going to get cute with the minus ones or the regulations because what if this is 3-3 and it goes to overtime? So I'm going to take Toronto. I'm going to parlay it with the over 5.5, and I turn it into a plus 142. I think that's the best price on the street that you guys will find. What say you? Let's see. Peter says, Celtics should bounce back. There's Bo Jackson likes the Mavs, Lakers so far. Brian Palmer says, OKC minus 3.5, time to buy low. Blue Jackets money line, Capitals money line, Utah, Toronto under 6.5 for Brian Palmer. Okay. All right, Brian, I see you. Jerry Davis says, I cashed Ohio plus 140 live, Miami plus 8. Nice, dude. Nice. Way to interpret the breakdown and just go out there and fire exactly as you needed to, Jerry. Congrats to you, my man. Robert McCormick says, good evening. Brian Palmer likes the Lakers money line. Mitch Morber says, fading my Blue Jackets tonight. Fading the Jackets. Trevor 85 says, taking the Blazers money line. Thunder get a loss tonight, says Trevor. Jerry Davis parlayed Utah puck line and the Caps money line. Sancho likes the Blackhawks money line, the Lakers money line. I like that Blackhawks spot tonight. I hate both those teams. So I didn't spend a lot of time looking at it, but then I started looking at it about an hour ago and I was like, I kind of like this. Why did I not get on the Blackhawks? Especially when you look at the goalie matchup. I don't know. Maybe the goalie matchup is what keeps, I don't know. JPZ says teams go to Toronto and win. I believe it. He says, all right. Sandy's in the house. Likes the Sharks plus 220 for Sandy. There's Jags 87 checking in. Magnifico. What up? Peter Gracia says, DraftKings parlay, Toronto and over, not allowed. LOL. There you go. When they don't want you to do, they want to force you. They want to force you, and that's where you have to have another book. Magnifico likes Hachimura. Over 5.5 field goals made. King of the Court guy cashed last night. I don't know if you saw that. Not often used player was plus 220. And I forgot who it was. By the way, I did talk about James Harden. I said James Harden was my other guy I was looking at for King of the Court. I had his over 21.5 points. I ended up getting on that late. He cashed for me. All right, game number 2. We're going to move into the St. Louis Blues and Washington Capitals spot. I'm going to tell you right now, sharp respected betting information was in, and they have jumped on the St. Louis Blues. I can't disagree. I started this thing off and I was like, first I was looking at the under. And then I thought, Washington kind of plays to the under at home. Sometimes they score 2 goals. Sometimes they score 4 goals. And the St. Louis Blues just came off that 3-0 shutout win. What do we know about teams that come off a shutout? In baseball, they were losing like crazy. So how did I end up here? Well, I got Jordan Binnington on the St. Louis Blues side of things here. And, if you want to play the Blues in the under, get it. If you want to play the under, okay. I mean, the Blues aren't scoring. They're 53-17. Yet this line opened up. They're only a plus 125, and the Sharp report came in firing on these guys. So what happened? Did they turn the corner with that come from behind victory? Or not come from behind, but you know what I mean. Short-lived victory, I guess. Binnington, 3-2 over the Oilers. That was the come from behind. Excuse me when I said 3-0. Excuse me. I was off. Excuse me. I read my notes wrong. So they battled. And I was on the Oilers. That Monday was like one of my shittiest days, maybe ever. They scored 3 unanswered goals, though, so you got to respect what they did out there. Here's the thing about the Capitals. They are beatable. They're averaging 2.5 goals a game. It's not like they're going out there lighting the world on fire. This is what I said. Washington's kind of regressed, and they're older. They're also built to make playoff runs, so they don't necessarily need to go out there, and they're not worried about the first quarter of the season. They're trying to get their third and fourth lines right, which makes them beatable, in my opinion. And you get Thompson, who's phenomenal, 151 goals against average, on his way to being the Vezina Trophy winner with a 93.5% save percentage. But he's lost back-to-back games. So is this that tricky little trap spot? I think it is. And I think when you look at it and you break it down, you got to fire on these Blues. You got to look at these Blues to bounce back and keep it rolling in the right direction, I should say. I think this is a spot for us to take a shot with the Blues, plus 130. I concur with the sharp respected betting information. Peter Grassi says DraftKings is afraid. What up, Derek B? He likes Ovi to score plus 155. All right. That's a good tag for Ovi. Sandy says Sabres. Sabres aren't playing tonight, are they? I like Sabres. Sachin says JDM Moneyline. Jack Delamaina? Talking some UFC? I don't know. Let's keep pressing on. Onward and upward for a battle between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Calgary Flames. Look at this record for the Calgary Flames. My goodness. 3-9-2. The problem is their guy that they kind of they went in on was Dustin Wolf. And he stinks. He's 3-8-1. And he's got a 3.4 goals against average. That ain't going to cut it. He did save 17 of 18 shots against the Phillies or Flyers. It is the Flyers. Now, they did win against Montreal, so I'll give them their credit. 5-4. They came back again and won. But last year, Wolf was phenomenal with the Calder Trophy run. This year, kind of the regression point. It's like the sophomore slump for NFL quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels. On the other side, Greaves, not bad for a backup. 3-3 with a 2.67 goals against average. Somehow he's getting 7 starts already. So we'll see if they're just gently nestling in their goaltender rotation and just kind of taking these early part of the season. Again, the Flames. Here's the thing with the Flames. They're scoring the fewest goals in the league. We just talked about the Capitals not scoring. The Flames are 2.2. As bad as the Capitals have been, the Flames are even worse. I looked at this Jacket spot. I said, this is a good opportunity here. Calgary's offense stinks. Their goaltending's bad. Columbus, 4-3 on the road. So they play well on the road. They perform. And their backup's been doing the job. So where does it say Calgary Flames in this game? Somebody tell me. Because I heard a bunch of people today talking about the Calgary Flames. I just don't see it. I can't just flip my magic wand. I don't even own a magic wand. If I had a magic wand, I'd flip some more water in this glass because I'm slightly parched this afternoon. But that will conclude the NHL portion of our content today. We are moving right along, trying to move things up. If you guys are just getting in here, game plan is to try to move up 5-7 minutes sooner so that we can get done a little bit sooner because we have so much going on at that 7 and 7:45 window that, frankly, we all need a few more minutes in there. So that's the game plan. That's the commitment. If it means that this becomes a 45-minute job, okay. I mean, we'll have a bunch of sports in there at some point. And then, we'll be back to sit around and talk live most of the nights anyways. So that being said, support the show. Love you guys being in here doing what we're doing as we build this community. But it's time to remind everybody, if you haven't smashed that thumbs up button, just got done with the hockey segment, new process in place to move things up and speed it along a little bit for you guys. So give that thumbs up a click if you haven't done so already. You know what I like is the pace of the show that we roll on Sunday. Shark and I coming in there. That's 2 guys firing off a 13-14 spot in the NFL every game on Sunday, and we get everything done in less than 50 minutes. Now, I like to engage and incorporate what you guys are doing a little bit more here too than there, but I still think it's time to get done just a little sooner. Be a little selfish here with this. Baseball, what are you going to do? We got 13, 14 games on the card. We got time. There's only one sport. We should be fine. Adding all these sports will be a different story, but let's move to college football. If you're new here, you guys know the deal. If you're existing, don't spend so much time looking at the cash flow trends in the NHL. We are the cash flow trend in the NHL. But when it moves to college football, and I say that half kidding, because the reality is we've been dominating 2 seasons in a row in the NHL, and I expect that to continue this year. But when we look at the rest of the leagues, we want to see what some of this other action has to say, because NHL tends to be one of the sharper sports bet. When the sharp report comes out, this is why I look at it, not quite the holy grail, but I look at it and hold it with high regard, because they're betting it early and they're betting it overnight. And so when I get that information, I wake up the next day, I see the lines moved a couple. I'm like, shit, they got 8 cents better on us, 9 cents better. Is that, late betting's great betting. But if you're going to fire away, 8 cents times 10 is 80 cents. That's almost $1. And if you're betting $100, that becomes, $80. So if you're betting $200, it's $160 over the long haul. I think in the NHL will be a little bit better served from it. But anyhow, Kent State and Ball State pop off here I couldn't make heads and tails of this game. I got to be honest. I would probably take Kent State. I hate saying I got to be honest. What am I going to lie to you guys? 45% of the bets are on Kent State, 50% of the cash. Both these teams stink. The line was dropped down to 3. It's just moved back to 3.5, but there's still 3s out there. It's not a true 3.5. So this is a head fake 3.5. Looking back on this game, I am going to take Kent State plus 3. I have it as a coin flip. Now, Ball State, a.k.a. Ball Sack, they find themselves in a bounce back position of their own. When they're the favorite off a dog loss, they're 5-1 against the spread. Problem is this. These are where the margins are so important. They're 5-1 against the spread. They're covering by 8. With me? 7.8. We'll just call it 8. Just easy 8 for this point, right? 5-1 against the spread, covering by 8. But the average line is 9. They're laying 9. They're only laying, 3 in this spot? So that margin of 6, that's gotten or 7.8, that's gotten gobbled up. So if you can get to 3.5, I think you got to take a shot. Yeah, maybe it is Ball Sack that wins outright, but it's too many points to lay against a Kent State team with 2 mediocre teams in action. Could be wrong. I like to look at the margins. I like to look at the swath of games, the sample. And then we did this the other day with the Arizona fucking game, the Cardinals. We weren't wrong. We were dead nuts. Said it was a 10-point opportunity for the Cardinals to win. They won by exactly 10 points. That's how we leverage these margins. And now that this number's moved back to 3.5 with the false front, I'm going to take the 3 plus 3. I'm going to do it right now so you guys know exactly what number I get. Minus 110 plus 3. Minus 110. There you go. Hang on. Let me click it. Thinking. Accepted. There we go. That's the indicator I was looking for. It's a coin flip game, 2 shit teams. I don't want to miss out on some money, and I know about that 6-1, but there's just not enough there between these 2 teams to warrant laying a field goal or more. This thing gets battled in the trenches like we talked about before. And they're both 2-2 in the MAC. They're both 3-5. So Kent State's got the quarterback edge and Ball State's got the rushing edge. The problem, you've heard me say this before, Kent State's quarterback, the Shields, got 1,100 passing yards, 11 touchdowns to 2 interception ratio. It's pretty badass. Then on the flip side, you got the rushing game of Ball Sack. Ashley has 513 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns. Where are the touchdowns? What are you doing? So you got a better quarterback. For me, we've talked about why this fit yesterday. When you can rush the ball better and the other team's weakness is the passing game, or the strength is the teams that rushes the ball better has the better passing defense, you're screwed. That was Ohio last night. Here's a game where you got the better passing quarterback by wide margin against a team that runs the ball and can't produce. So now you're moving the chains and you're 3rd and long and you're going nowhere. Then you punt the ball. The other team comes down there and bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden you're looking at the scoreboard going, fuck, we just got the ball. What's up? How are we down 6-0 already? That's Kent State's spot for me here tonight. Northern Illinois and Toledo, on the other hand, is another tricky MAC game here with a huge number. Huge number. Huge. It's a huge number. 39% of the bets are on Toledo. 79% of the cash on Toledo. Now, Twitter loves Northern Illinois tonight. I don't know if you guys ever played the turn notifications off game. I had way too many notifications turned on for a long time, and it's just finally gotten to the point where I'm like, all right, enough. These all got to get turned off. So every time I saw Northern Illinois today, they're not even followed anymore. So that being, some of them are my friends, so it's a difficult situation. But, yeah, the public likes Northern Illinois, and yet the line's moving in the Toledo direction at 15.5. If you're laying 15.5, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. Now, I bet nobody, I said this to you last week, nobody has the right to fade Northern Illinois more than me. I bet on these guys so many times in the MAC. It almost might be my MAC school because they've been MAC champions, MAC runner-ups, MAC attack. And yet, yeah, they just came off of beating that ball sack team 21-7. The team that can't produce results just fucking got thumped by a team that sucks. Go figure how that all worked out. The problem for me when it come down and start breaking this game down, or at least looking into it high level, is one team doesn't let up this team total and the other team doesn't get this team total. And what I mean by the play is I'm looking at the team total for Northern Illinois and I'm taking the under. I think this game goes under, and the low total suggests it, right? It's 42. But as I was looking at it, Toledo's defense, 10th in college football. 10th. Now, they allow 16 points a game. Okay. But they're only giving up 236 yards, and that gives them good enough to be third in college football. So the wide margins suggest that this defense absolutely stymies this Northern Illinois team, and fifth in defensive success rate in college football. So they're shutting teams down. And then if you ask on the other side, well, what's their last couple of games look like? They allowed 10 points in a home matchup against Kent State, the other team that we just talked about. And they allowed 3 points against Akron. So home matchups, conference play, they come to fuck. Northern Illinois, on the other hand, they're averaging 13.4 points a game. Where's that fall in college football? Almost dead last, 134th. 132nd in total offense. This is what I said. Some of these teams can't, they just don't move the ball with efficiency. And you're going to get outgassed by a team in Toledo. The question is, can Toledo cover the number? And that's what had me a little concerned. On the road, Northern Illinois scores only 12.5 points a game in 4 road games this season. Toledo gives up 13.8 points a game in conference this season. So I thought the prudent thing to do, take the under in the Northern Illinois 13.5 and hope they don't see any points. Seemed like a fair way to go. We just added a college football play, and we got double dip on the MAC. We had maybe I'm trigger happy after last week or after yesterday being spot out. Just trust the call. Trust in your gut. Should have done that. Didn't do that. Kelly V, KV2K says Joe Madden. It's Kadri's 1,000th tie game. She likes anytime goal. 1 point as a parlay piece. Vancouver in regulation and the under. OKC in Portland. OV number 900. Thundernuts. Guys, QB 1 touchdown tonight. Other QB over the passing yards. Stop Shios says hit the like button, folks. We do. Says Ball State YouTube. Let's go. Minus 160 first half. I don't know. Over, under. I don't know. I just took Kent State. Jerry Davis says I tease Kent State to 8 and the under 50. Gualo! What up, Gualo? Jerry Davis says Kent is better than their record looks at their schedule. I agree. Sancho says yes, the look ahead spot. Stop Geo says, where's my brother from the same mother? Ramon, when you need him. Final. Weedy says, buy out Kent State. I'm going to try to hurt them. Good sportsmanship, maybe enemies. I don't know. Dirty Reg says, Ball State haven't played half the competition Kent State has played. All right, so we're on the same page. Cameron says, JDM ain't winning shit. Jerry Davis says, thanks for calling me nuts, Mikey. I didn't call you nuts, did I? I don't know if I did. Did I say that? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I speak and it's what I say. Dirty Reg says Kent State played 2 nice ranked teams. Dirty Reg says, nice, Cameron. I was waiting for someone to say that. Cameron says, only the poor peasants will have money on JDM. Jerry Davis says, windy in both Maction games. Probably leads to the under. Dirty Reg says, I got Islam tickets from a month ago waiting for that fight. Cameron says, Islam sub is the play for that fight. Huey McDougal, Kent State defense is abysmal. Ball State at quarterback and running back with rushes like maniacs. Ball State quarterback might rush for 100. And Skunk Blaster's here. He's got the scumbag play of the day. Scumbag play of the day is in, and it is on North Dakota State on the money line for a plus 130 from our guy Skunk. That does complete our college football portion of the show. Let's move on to some college hoops action. And I recognized yesterday I said I should probably write these rotation numbers down. You guys look up games by rotation numbers, or you look them up? How do you look up games is what I'm curious. I don't really use the rotation numbers. I just need to know what time slot it's in. Maybe I'll start writing down what time slot it's in. Rutgers is up 25-20. You're laying 18.5, Rutgers. Pick her up. Okay. Tarleton State, they play at 8 p.m. against LSU. They started out the season 0-1. Getting a lofty number the other day. They played SMU. They were at SMU. They're on their southern tour, if you will. I believe sometimes in the hot program or the hot city. You guys have heard me talk about that before. I also believe in the we're a mess programs. And right now, I think LSU's a mess. Their football team has not lived up to expectations. Their basketball team is getting pissed. The boosters are mad because everyone's saying football. They went all in on Brian Kelly. The Brian Kelly experiment did not work. Interesting. The Chip Kelly experiment in Philadelphia Eagles did not work when he had to run out of Oregon because he was a cheater. Going to get suspended from college football. So he ran away, and it was Brian Kelly or Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly nuked the program in Philadelphia. Wanted to monitor what the players were eating. It's like, this ain't college, dude. And then Brian Kelly ends up moving down to LSU. Well, the Brian Kelly experiment didn't work either. But I think that just means that they sucked resources away from their basketball program. And their basketball program kind of it's all right. LSU, SEC. I mean, come on. 78% of the bets, 85% of the cash have moved in on this Tarleton State team, though. Moving in, continuing to run in the FBS now. 3-point move in their direction. Sharps coming in, betting on Tarleton State. And I am not surprised. I think, again, in the hot mess program, and that is the LSU squad. Overall, back and forth. I mean, yeah. Do you want to lay all these points? There's a system play that says LSU's the spot. I just look at this and say, man, there's all these numbers. They're starting the season off. Favorites starting the season with a total that's up to a 159.5 are 350 and 283. So if you want to fade me on Tarleton State, I get it. But if you look at the overlay, they got thumped the other day on a 20.5 or 22.5, and they moved. So our guy Shark talks about this all the time. One of my favorite things he talks about is the line functionality. This line came down from a thumping they just took the other day. What's going on? Trying to read into this one just a little bit, and I think it'll be a Tarleton State spot for us here tonight. Early in the season, so we just don't have a ton to go off of. I will go off this next game, though, and here's what I like about this spot. If you were ever going to get an East Texas A&M Commerce team buying low, it's right here. They just won. 80% of the bets, 75% of the cash. They moved from 20.5 to 21.5. So the books realized, holy shit, we may or may not have made a mistake out here. Just because they grabbed a win doesn't mean shit. And, you look at who it was Houston Christian that they got the win against. So you have to dig in just a little bit deeper when it comes to some of these things. And, I talked before about finding continuity in the program or looking for programs that are just in change when you're early in the season. East Tech used to be Texas A&M Commerce. It's now East Texas A&M. So it's the same program, but they were 5-26 last year, and they only averaged 64 points a game. The Pit, in my opinion, has been historically one of the toughest basketball programs to play at in college basketball. And if you need some evidence, they are 53-5 in home openers. They had a 27-8 season with Richard Pitino last year. The son of Ricky Pitino, best recruiter in the business. 22 straight season opening wins. When it comes time to get going, I think they blow the barn doors off of East Texas A&M. So I'm going to take me some New Mexico in the Pit. As if I was going to see a college basketball game, let's see. I've seen college basketball games at University of Rochester, RIT, St. Bonaventure, the Dome, the Syracuse Orange. I have to think if there's any else, but the Pit would be on the list of places I'd like to go. In any event, I like this advantage that they have here. I think it's 22 for a reason. I think they go out there and just slap these boys around like they owe them money. Onward. Upward. Tell me what you guys think about college basketball tonight. Again, I'm going to be light. I want to give all the production back like we did last night with Kentucky here. It's real money. Jerry Davis on Tarleton plus 19 and grabbed Sprinkled plus 14. Wow. Going with a money line. ZC says, type the name of the team in the search bar. Easiest way to find a game. Yeah, I got I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 windows open on this screen, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 windows open on this. There ain't no easy way to type a search bar in there when you got 21 windows open. I guess I got to streamline before the game starts. I'm just happy to get the banner in there for you guys before the game starts, before we start the show. Let's be quick through the NBA, the Utah Jazz, the Detroit Pistons. I'm trying to leverage some line movement and some trends, as we always do. That's what we do at this show. Try to be the best in the business to do it. But have we gone a little too far to say the Pistons are this good? They're now 10.5-point favorites. And the books, the public and the sharps came in. 58% of the bets and 57% of the cash came in on the Utah Jazz. It's come down to 9.5s now. Total hasn't moved. And you have 85% of the bets and 82% of the cash sitting there on the over. And you got them at 5-2. So fully get it. Cade Cunningham and company. Are they for real? Are they the real deal? Can they go out there and dominate the court? I think so, but they're still a young and experienced team. They just played at Memphis. They won by 8 points, 114-106. Problem is they're covering. They're covered 4 of 5 games. They're 5-2 on the season. And so the books have no choice because everyone's just going to pile in. Does it matter if they win by 10? Now the Jazz, on the other hand, they just came off a beatdown at Boston, 105-103. They were getting 10.5 points. They're 3-2 in their last 5. The thing is, they're winning as dogs. They almost beat Portland, 136-134. They were 3.5-point dog in that spot. So you're kind of disrespecting this Utah Jazz team. And are you over? I don't know. I mean, Tobias Harris, Jordan Ivey, Marcus Sasser are all guys that are out for the Detroit Pistons. Is that depth? I think so. Niang and Walker Kessler are obviously not guys I'd prefer to have. I'd rather have them in than out when it comes to it. But look, Jazz, you fade Detroit at home against the West. They're 25-10. So we've taken a team that's been kicking ass and taking names, and now they're making them double-digit favorites. And dogs, this is the too stupid theory. Remember, too stupid. You're too stupid to know how bad you are. So early in the season, you go out there and fight. Early season dogs playing against playoff teams are 19-4-1. They're 8-2 in the last 10 spread numbers. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're on a shit team and you're going against a playoff team. So when it comes to trade deadline, you want them to have some good tape on you so that when they make the phone calls, they say, oh man, this guy really busted us up when he played us. And I believe that's what correlates to this 19-4-1 trend. Detroit's a great overspot at home. When they've got a rested opponent, a line under a 15, and they just covered the spread by over 2 points against their opponent. The overs are 15-0 in Detroit Piston spots out there. But the Jazz excel against above 500 spread teams. If you're 450 or better on the spread, the Utah Jazz are 71-38. So they're 2-1. So if you think about that a little bit and break that one down, what's it really mean? It means they undervalue the Jazz. And now we're in an overvalued position on the Detroit Pistons. So if they go out there and thump me, they'll have showed it to me and I'll give them some credit. I got the plus 10 at -114 for the Utah Jazz. Oh, I was going to add, wasn't I? Didn't I say I was going to add the spot for you guys? Yeah. See? But I had it here. I got 2 spots on this one. The Knicks and the T-Wolves. I got a plus 3.5. It's not 4. I hope that doesn't matter. And a separate play on Kessler over 20.5 points. I'm sorry, not Kessler. Sorry. My fault. I just said Kessler. I can't chew gum and talk and walk at the same time either, apparently. Over 20.5 points. Start with the Randall spot. It's the revenge opportunity, right? The team that just shit canned him and said, you can go. Now, both these teams are dealing with injuries. So what are you going to do? They both come off of wins. So despite the injuries, so be it. You know, Anthony Edwards' status is what puts Julius Randle in play for me. He's got revenge. He just had a triple-double. In that triple-double, he didn't score 20 points, and he was getting 24 or more in the 5 games prior, 30 or more in 3 of those. So point-scoring beast that stepped up in a rounded game with Anthony Edwards, but has a history of going over this 20.5 number. So I got minus 115 on the Julius Randle points. And I like the Timberwolves in this spot, even though we've got a 17-0. Is this? Let me see. It's the 11-0 spot for the Knicks. Just so we're on the same page. I'll give you guys both sides of the equation, and I tell you what I bet. That's kind of the way it works here to some degree, right? 11-0 against the spread. More than a 2-point home favorite against the West after allowing less than 112 points. And they're covering by 18. So it's beefy. It's a beefy number. But this number's come way down. 49% of the bets and 53% of the cash are on the T-Wolves. Total 231.5 down to 227.5 with 87% of the bets and 85% of the cash on the over. When both teams have streaks, winning streaks, in the middle of the road total, the away team has been dominant because they're overvaluing home court advantage. 16-3 is the away team against the spread, have covered in 10 straight spots. So I double dipped the spot. This is a little bonus. This is a little cherry on top of the sundae for everybody. You guys tell me what you think about that. Peter Gracias, thanks for multitasking. The search bar on the bookie says, yeah, I got to do a better job of it. I think if I write the time, at least I know when I'm scrolling and there's 52 games at 7 o'clock and it's an 8 o'clock game. I don't have to worry about 7 or 7:30. I think that's part of my challenge. I'll get it right. Okay. College basketball just started. Not only do we got to get the bets right, but we got a long ways to go to get the system navigated here. So wrapping it up here, Bo, on the show so we can get up out of here. OKC Thunder, Portland Trail Blazers. It looks like a trap, and if it is, I'm in. Portland Trail Blazers. They no-showed me the other day. I don't know what happened in that one spot there. Was it against the Lakers? 82% of the bets, but 63% of the cash are on the Thunder. Lines come down. More attractive to bet the Thunder, but bigger money coming in on the Trailblazers. Total's got 228.5. It's moved to 231s and 231.5s. And you know, I will regale you with some numbers, with some trends to be considerate of here as we look at this game. Boy, where do we start? Where do you want to start? There's so many good numbers to talk about with this game. Why don't we find the right window and I'll pop it open. Let's start with the Trailblazers. 0-16 in their last 16 meetings against the Thunder. Thunder are their daddies. They're 0-12 against the spread with rest off a spread loss of a beatdown, 11 points or more. That's an impressive trend because the flip side is how teams beat other teams down after they got blown out by double digits. Not the Trailblazers. They're special. They're special little children. So we got a little bit of an option to fade them Blazers. Now, the other side of things comes into why OKC Thunder. Well, besides the fact that they're absolutely beast mode. Oh, where'd it go? One of my 27 windows. Hang on. Whoops. I feel like I just lost a little momentum there. I was all excited to get you guys jacked up for this one. 11-0 against the spread. Be the Thunder. They shot at least 45% from 3 the last game. That much they did. 18 of 38 against the Clippers. The hot team stays hot. They keep it rolling. Unbeaten on the season. I think they roll into Portland. They get themselves a dub again tonight to close the show up for you guys. That's the way the show gets done. That's it. We're all out of picks. We're all out of plays for you guys. Added some plays along the way. I appreciate everybody that did tune in to join us here today. What a fun day we've had so far. 2-0 to start with some footy action with the Champions League, and we're just getting started, you guys. Appreciate you being here. Sean Fox Show, 7 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for Pregaming. Ramon Scott will be here at 9 a.m., and then we'll be live for some Thursday night football action. You guys, good luck with your bets tonight. Smash the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Always improve the show if you guys tell me where and how and why to do it. Leave your best bets, and we'll be back again tomorrow. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, good luck. Have a great